Hi, thanks for visiting the mathemagician.uk. Today we'll be talking about manipulatives. Manipulatives are small tiles that we can use to help us understand how number and algebra works. It's very important that you learn about these now because I'll be using them a lot in the future. At the end of this lesson, you may not understand why they're so important, but it'll become clear over the next few lessons. Let's go to the classroom and see how they work. Welcome to my classroom. In this lesson you'll learn how to use manipulative tiles to make maths easier. We'll learn about using the tiles to represent positive and negative numbers, a single algebraic letter, like x, more than one algebraic letter, like x and y, and squared terms in algebra, like x squared. So what we can see here is that this blue small square represents number positive 1. But the red square represents negative 1. So if I want to represent the number 3, then I need 1, 2, 3 blue squares. But if I want to represent negative 2, then I need 1, 2 red squares. Now I don't need you to fully understand all of this right now, but it'll help if you try to remember as much as you can. Right, we've looked at numbers, now let's look at letters, so let's look at algebra. We've got here, we've got an x, and this is still an x. This is a negative x, and this is another negative x. Doesn't matter which way round they are. So if I want to show 3x, what do you think I do? I bring in 1, 2, 3 x's. Think about then what I'd do if I wanted to show negative 2x. Hopefully you've said I'll bring in 1, 2 red x's. And I could have brought in the ones going this way instead. Still 2 x's. Right, now we've looked at x's, let's look at y's. If you look at this diagram, you'll see the y's are different to the x's. So we look at positive x, it's blue and big. And if we look at positive y, it's green and small. The yellows is negative y, and the reds was negative x. So let's have a look at, let's say, 4y. That would be, what do you think? It would be 1, 2, 3, 4 y's. And negative 2y would be 1, 2 of the y's. How are you getting on? Are you keeping up? Right, so last we've got squareds. We've got x and y squareds. Here you can see that x squared looks like a square. Wonder why? So let's investigate it a little bit. This is an x. This is also an x. And when I put them together, I get x times x, which is x squared. So that's why it's called x squared. I can do the same with the red one. So with a negative x. Now there's something a bit weird about negative x, because we make it out of an x times by a negative x, because the only way you can get a negative is by doing different signs. So a positive x times by a negative x gives me a negative x squared. Let's put the diagram. So a positive x and a positive x gives me x squared. A negative x and a negative x still gives me x squared. A positive x and a negative x gives me a negative x squared, and a negative x and a positive x gives me a negative x squared. We'll talk about this more when we do multiplication, but just try and see what you can remember before then. You can see very similar for y squared. So we've got a y times a y gives me a y squared, but when two sides are the same a negative y, and a negative y still gives me a y squared. And we've got a positive y times by a negative y, we get a negative y squared. And a negative y times by a positive y still gives me a negative y squared. Again, don't worry about it too much, just see what you can remember when we get round to it. Right, so we're nearly at the end. We're just going to have a go at simplification. You'll notice that there are only positives in this question because we're not quite ready to be doing negatives yet until we've learned more about the tiles. Right, if you want to have a go yourself, pause the video, have a go, see what you've got when we come back. Right, we want 2x squared, so we need two of them. 1x squared, 2x squared. I need 3 y's. 1, 2, 3. 2 x's. 1, 2. A y. I want another x squared. 3 y's. 1, 2, 3. 2x squareds. 1, 2 of them, and 1x. I'll show you my Manipulative diagram. Now, we need to work out what it is that we've got. Well, if we look at the x squareds first, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5x squareds. Then we need to look at our x's, say. So we've got 1, 2, 3 x's. That's positive 3 x's. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positive y's. How did you get on? Don't worry if you're not fully understanding. This is only the first step. There are lots more videos to come on addition, subtraction, multiplication, division to begin with. In the addition video, you expect to see some normal addition, then you'll find some algebra, and then we'll work through to perimeter in geometry. Hopefully you've enjoyed what you've done today. Today we've covered using manipulative tiles to make maths easier. We've learned about using the tiles to represent positive and negative numbers, single algebra value like x, more than one algebra value like x and y, and squared terms in algebra. Thanks for watching today. Follow and subscribe to get more videos on topics you struggle with, leave a message in the comments, or visit themathemagician.uk. Hopefully we'll see you again soon.